As I was traveling through life, I realized something very early. That success is not just about talent, money, or resources. The real secret of success is your impact, your influence. And that influence comes from your communication. If you can deliver your message with wisdom, if you can touch people's hearts, then you can achieve any goal you set for yourself. This is not just a skill, it is your true weapon. Today, I want to show you how powerful communication can instantly transform your life and how it can give you the strength not just to be part of the crowd, but to rise above it and become its leader. Clarity creates impact, and this is one of the most important principles in communications. In communication, that separates an ordinary speaker from a person who influences and inspires. When your words are clear, they travel directly to the minds and hearts of the listeners. Ambiguity weakens your message, but clarity gives it strength, direction, and meaning. Every successful leader, every powerful speaker, every change maker in history has mastered this one ability to say what they mean in a way that leaves no room for confusion. If you cannot express your thoughts clearly, even the greatest ideas will lose their power. People do not respond to what they cannot understand. But when they understand every word, they begin to align with your vision. Clarity in communication starts with clarity in thinking. When your mind is scattered, your words will reflect that disorder. But when your thoughts are organized, your language becomes sharp and impactful. To achieve this, you must simplify your message without oversimplifying your vision. Choose words that are accessible, direct, and powerful. Avoid unnecessary jargon that creates distance between you and your listener. A clear communicator does not try to impress with complexity. Instead, they aim to connect with simplicity. When you stand before people, remember that they should not struggle to decode your words. They should absorb them effortlessly. Clarity is not just about choice of words, it is also about structure. When you build your sentences carefully, when your message follows a natural flow, it allows your audience to journey with you without getting lost. Imagine communication as a road. Clarity removes all unnecessary turns and dead ends. It creates a straight path where your ideas can travel smoothly and reach the destination, the minds and hearts of those listening. When your communication lacks clarity, people may hear you, but they will not feel compelled to act. But when your communication is sharp, people not only hear you, but they also believe in you. This is why leaders who influence nations, teams, and communities always prioritize clarity. They know that one clear sentence can be more powerful than an hour-long confusing lecture. Clarity also reflects confidence. When you speak clearly, it shows that you know exactly what you are saying. It shows that you value your audience enough not to waste their time with complicated expressions. It shows that you are not hiding behind fancy words, but you are standing firmly behind your message. That confidence itself builds influence because people naturally trust those who seem to know where they are going. Your clarity gives them certainty, and certainty is magnetic. People are drawn towards those who can articulate their thoughts without hesitation or contradiction. Clarity requires practice. It is not an automatic gift, it is a discipline. You refine your words, you remove the clutter, you keep only what truly matters. Just as a sculptor removes the excess stone to reveal the statue, a communicator removes unnecessary words to reveal the message. The sharper the words, the stronger the impact. The audience does not remember everything you say, but they will always remember the parts that were expressed with absolute clarity. In a world full of noise, clear communication becomes a rare and valuable strength. It allows you to rise above the clutter and be heard. It gives your message weight, urgency, and authority. Clarity creates impact because it transforms communication from mere speaking into meaningful connection. It makes the listener feel that your words were crafted for them, that your message was built to guide them, and that your voice carries direction and purpose. When you communicate with clarity, your influence does not just remain in the moment. It lingers, it stays, and it shapes the way people think and act long after you have spoken. Confidence commands respect, and this is the invisible force that elevates communication from ordinary to extraordinary. When a person speaks with confidence, even the simplest words carry weight. People may forget the details of what was said, but they will always remember the presence, the energy, and the conviction with which it was delivered. Confidence is not arrogance, nor is it about dominating others. It is about believing in your own voice and standing firm in your message. The world listens differently when you speak with certainty. A hesitant tone invites doubt, but a confident tone invites trust. The more you radiate self-assurance, the more others lean in to hear what you have to say, because human beings are naturally drawn to those who appear sure of themselves. Confidence in communication begins with preparation. No one is born with natural command over words. They cultivate it through learning, practice, and discipline. When you know your subject, when you have clarity of thought, and when you have rehearsed your ideas, confidence flows naturally. The problem many people face is not a lack of ability, but a lack of self-belief. They second-guess themselves, they fear judgment, and they allow nervousness to overpower their message. But the moment you remove that self-doubt, your voice transforms. It becomes steady, strong, and filled with authority. Your words no longer sound like guesses. They sound like declarations. True confidence is not loudness, it is calmness. It is the quiet power of a leader who knows his direction and does not need to shout to prove his point. When you watch great speakers, you will notice that their tone is steady, their body language composed, their eyes unshaken. This calm authority comes from confidence. It tells the audience that the speaker is not here to impress them, but to guide them. That subtle shift makes all the difference. People are more likely to respect and follow someone who seems in control of themselves than someone who tries too hard to be convincing. Confidence is also communicated through body language. The way you stand, the way you move your hands, the way you hold eye contact, all of these signal whether you truly believe in your own words. If your shoulders are slouched, your eyes darting, and your voice trembling, people sense weakness. But when you stand upright, your movements purposeful, and your eyes steady, people sense authority. They may not consciously analyze it, but subconsciously they begin to respect you. Communication is not just about words, it is about the unspoken signals that either build your influence or break it. Another important dimension of confidence is authenticity. People respect you when they feel you are real. Pretending to be someone else may give a temporary illusion of confidence, but it does not last. Real confidence comes when your words are aligned with your beliefs and your actions. When you speak from your own conviction, when you embody the principles you talk about, your communication becomes unshakable. Listeners know that what you say is not just theory. It is truth lived and experienced. That authenticity multiplies respect. Confidence commands respect because it reassures people. It tells them that you are capable, that you can handle challenges, and that your leadership can be trusted. In every field, whether business, politics, or personal relationships, the ones who rise to the top are not always the most talented, but they are the ones who communicate with unshakable confidence. It is this quality that makes teams follow their leaders, students admire their teachers, and nations trust their visionaries. Active listening builds trust, and trust is the foundation of all meaningful influence. Too often people assume communication is only about speaking well, about using powerful words and commanding expressions. But the truth is that the most powerful communicators are also the most attentive listeners. When you listen with full presence, you are not just hearing words, you are understanding emotions, perspectives, and the unspoken realities behind those words. This makes the other person feel valued, respected, and acknowledged, and that feeling of being heard is what creates trust. People do not trust those who speak endlessly about themselves, but they naturally trust those who make them feel understood. Active listening means giving your full attention without distraction. In today's world, where everyone is in a hurry and distractions are everywhere, The gift of genuine listening has become rare. When you put your phone aside, maintain steady eye contact, and lean in with interest, you show the other person that they matter. This simple act can transform relationships, whether it is in leadership, business, or personal life. Leaders who listen earn the loyalty of their teams because though they show that every voice matters. Friends who listen build deeper bonds because they prove that the relationship is more than just words. Spouses who listen strengthen trust because they validate each other's feelings. The act of listening is not passive, it is active participation in building connection. Another aspect of active listening is patience. Many people are quick to interrupt, to jump in with advice, or to share their own experiences. But active listening requires restraint. It means allowing the other person to finish their thoughts without rushing them. It means silencing the urge to prepare your response while they are still speaking. It means being present in the moment, absorbing not just the content, but the emotion behind it. This patience communicates respect, and respect is the seed of trust. When people sense you are not waiting to reply, but genuinely eager to understand, they feel safe with you. That safety builds influence because people open their hearts only to those they trust. Active listening is also about asking the right questions. When you listen carefully, you catch details that allow you to go deeper. Instead of giving surface level reactions, you respond with thoughtful questions that show you truly care. This creates a sense of partnership, as if the conversation is not a performance, but a collaboration. When people experience this, they lower their defenses, they begin to confide, to share honestly, and to align with you. Trust grows in these moments of genuine dialogue, where one person is not just speaking, but both are engaging. Body language again plays an important role. Nods, affirming gestures, and expressions that mirror understanding all reinforce that you are present. Silence, when used wisely, can be more powerful than words because it allows the speaker to continue expressing themselves. Sometimes what people need most is not advice or solutions, but simply someone who listens without judgment. By practicing this, you position yourself as someone dependable, and dependability is another word for trust. Active listening requires humility. It demands that you set aside your ego and give space to the other person's voice. Many people fail to listen because they are too focused on proving themselves or dominating the conversation. But real influence is not built by overpowering others. It is built by empowering them. Listening empowers. It tells people that their experiences matter, that their opinions carry weight, and that their voice is respected. This not only builds trust, but also strengthens influence, because people are far more likely to follow someone who respects them than someone who ignores them. In every sphere of life, whether leading a team, resolving conflict, or building personal connections, active listening stands as a pillar of trust. Words may persuade temporarily, but listening secures loyalty permanently. It transforms conversations into connections, relationships into partnerships, and communication into influence. When you listen actively, you are not just hearing, you are building bridges of trust that make your influence lasting and unshakable. Body language speaks louder than words, and in the realm of communication, it often determines whether your message is embraced or ignored. Long before you open your mouth, your body has already spoken. The way you stand, the way your eyes move, the way your hands express themselves, all of these send signals that people subconsciously read and interpret. A person may speak with perfect vocabulary and polished sentences, but if their body language contradicts their words, the audience senses insincerity. On the other hand, when body language aligns with words, communication becomes powerful, authentic, and deeply persuasive. Human beings are wired to pick up nonverbal cues. From the earliest stages of life, before learning words, infants understand tone, gestures, and expressions. This instinct never leaves us. Even as adults, we respond more to the energy someone radiates than to the specific language they use. This is why body language becomes the hidden key to influence. A firm handshake communicates confidence, an open posture conveys approachability, and steady eye contact establishes trust. A slouched posture, restless fidgeting, or avoidance of eye contact immediately signals insecurity or dishonesty. People may not always be able to articulate what they felt, but they will walk away with an impression shaped largely by body language. Effective body language begins with posture. Standing tall with shoulders back communicates strength and assurance, while collapsing into yourself communicates weakness. Leaders who project authority do so not only through their words, but through the way they occupy space. They appear grounded, balanced, and firm. This stability makes people feel secure in their presence. Posture is a physical expression of inner confidence, and when mastered, it amplifies every message you deliver. Gestures are another powerful tool. Purposeful hand movements emphasize points and add rhythm to speech. They can illustrate ideas, making abstract thoughts concrete. For example, spreading your hands can symbolize openness, pointing upward can suggest aspiration, and moving hands in unison can reflect unity, but uncontrolled or exaggerated gestures can distract rather than enhance. Mastery of gestures lies in aligning them with the emotion of your words, ensuring that they serve as a natural extension of your message rather than an artificial performance. Facial expressions form the most immediate connection with others. A genuine smile softens hearts and creates approachability, while a frown can close doors before the conversation even begins. The face is a mirror of sincerity. It reveals passion, concern, excitement, or doubt even when words attempt to conceal them. Great communicators know how to use expressions to match their tone, to show empathy when listening, to show conviction when speaking, and to show determination when inspiring. A face that radiates authenticity makes people listen more intently because they feel the emotions are real. Eye contact holds extraordinary power. It is one of the strongest signals of confidence and respect. Looking someone in the eye communicates attentiveness and honesty. Avoiding eye contact creates distance, while overdoing it can feel intimidating. Balanced eye contact builds connection and tells people that they matter in the conversation. For leaders, maintaining eye contact with their audience creates a sense of unity, as if each individual is directly addressed and included. Even silence in body language speaks volumes. A pause combined with a steady gaze can emphasize a point more powerfully than an extended explanation. Remaining composed during moments of challenge communicates control. Not reacting impulsively shows discipline. Silence, posture, and presence form a language of their own that can dominate a room without uttering a single word. Body language reflects the state of the mind. Nervous movements, trembling hands, or shifting feet reveal inner uncertainty, while calm and steady gestures reflect confidence and clarity. This is why inner work, building confidence, controlling emotions, and maintaining focus is essential for mastering outer expression. The body will always expose what the heart and mind feel. To influence others, you must first influence yourself, creating harmony between your thoughts, your emotions, and your physical presence. When words and body language align, communication becomes magnetic. People not only hear the message, but feel it. They sense conviction, truth, and passion. This resonance creates influence that goes beyond logic. It touches emotion and intuition. Body language does not just complement speech, it transforms speech into an experience. Emotion connects, logic convinces, and together they create the foundation of communication that not only reaches the mind, but also captures the heart. When a person speaks only with logic, their words may sound intelligent, but often fail to inspire. When someone speaks only with emotion, they may move people temporarily, but fail to build lasting conviction. True influence lies in the ability to balance both, touching emotions to create connection and presenting logic to build belief. This harmony is what transforms communication into persuasion and persuasion into action. Human beings are not purely rational creatures. We make decisions guided as much by how we feel as by what we think. A leader who understands this uses emotion to create a bond with the audience. Emotion is the spark that ignites interest, and opens the door to trust. When people feel that you understand their struggles, their hopes, and their dreams, they listen more closely. Emotion gives your words life. It makes your tone vibrant, your expression sincere, and your presence magnetic. Without emotion, communication becomes flat, lifeless, and forgettable. People do not remember every statistic or argument, but they remember how a message made them feel. At the same time, emotion alone is not enough. Lasting influence requires proof, reason, and structure. This is where logic enters. Logic provides the backbone that supports emotion. It gives your audience reasons to believe in you beyond the temporary wave of inspiration. Logic answers the questions of how, why, and what. It organizes your ideas, presents evidence, and builds a pathway from passion to practicality. A message built only on emotion may excite people for a moment, but when challenges arise, they will question it. A message supported by logic gives them a foundation to keep believing even when emotions fluctuate. Think of communication as building a bridge. Emotion is the bridge that connects your side to the audience's side. It brings people closer. It establishes common ground. It creates empathy. Logic is the structure that ensures the bridge is strong enough to hold the weight of belief and action. Without emotion, people may never step onto the bridge. Without logic, the bridge collapses when pressure comes. Together, emotion and logic create something enduring. Great leaders and communicators throughout history have mastered this balance. They moved hearts with passion, but convinced minds with reasoning. They painted visions filled with hope, but they also laid down clear steps to achieve those visions. They appealed to the deepest feelings of their people, but did not stop there. They strengthened those feelings with logical frameworks that made the vision achievable. This combination is why their words lived on, not just as inspiration, but as guiding principles. Emotion in communication comes from authenticity. It is not about acting or pretending to feel something. It is about genuinely caring for the subject and the people you are addressing. When you speak with real passion, it becomes contagious. Listeners sense it in your tone, your eyes, your body language, and they mirror that energy. But authenticity alone must be coupled with clarity of reasoning. When your passion is supported by facts, examples, and logical flow, people can not only feel your message, they can defend it, repeat it, and act on it. Logic, on the other hand, requires discipline. It demands that you structure your arguments, remove contradictions, and present your ideas step by step. It requires evidence, whether in the form of data, stories, or real-life examples. Logic transforms emotion from a fleeting experience into a sustainable influence. It ensures that your communication does not vanish the moment the excitement fades. In every field, whether leadership, teaching, negotiation, or daily interactions, those who master the art of blending emotion with logic rise above others. They connect deeply while also convincing firmly. They make people feel understood while also guiding them toward clear solutions. They inspire action while also providing direction. Emotion opens the door, logic builds the foundation, and together they create communication that is not just heard but remembered, not just admired but followed, not just spoken but lived. Consistency strengthens influence, and without consistency, even the most powerful words eventually lose their weight. Influence is not built in a single moment. It is cultivated over time through steady action, reliable behavior, and repeated demonstration of values. A person who speaks eloquently once may capture attention, but a person who consistently communicates with integrity, clarity, and conviction earns lasting respect. Consistency transforms communication from empty promises into a living example. It tells people that your message is not just a performance for the moment, but a principle you live by every day. When you communicate consistently, people begin to trust not only your words, but also your character. They know that what you say today will not contradict what you say tomorrow. They know that your actions will reflect your message. This alignment between words and actions creates credibility, and credibility is the essence of influence. Without consistency, people may listen once, but they will not follow. With consistency, they not only listen, but they also align themselves with your vision. Human beings are naturally drawn to stability. They want to invest their trust in those who do not shift with every wind. Consistency provides that stability. Consistency also builds reputation. Every interaction, every conversation, every speech adds to the image people form about you. If your communication is clear today, but confusing tomorrow, people hesitate to trust your leadership. But when your communication is always steady, always focused, and always authentic, people begin to associate you with reliability. Reputation is not built overnight. It is the product of consistent impressions over time. In leadership, reputation can be more powerful than authority because people follow willingly when they respect the consistency of your character. Another aspect of consistency is discipline. It requires effort to maintain the same standard of communication in every situation. It means preparing even when you feel tired, speaking with respect even when frustrated, and staying truthful even when tempted by convenience. This discipline shapes your influence because it shows that your communication is not dependent on mood or circumstance. It is anchored in principle. People respect those who maintain composure in success and dignity in adversity. Such steadiness reassures them that your influence is not fragile but enduring. Consistency does not mean rigidity. It does not mean repeating the same words again and again. Instead, it means that your core values, your tone of respect, and your authenticity remain unchanged. Even when your style adapts, communication may shift in format, sometimes a speech, sometimes a conversation, sometimes a message. But the underlying integrity remains the same. That is what makes influence sustainable. People know what to expect from you, and that the predictability creates trust. In the journey of influence, moments of inconsistency can undo years of effort. A single instance of dishonesty, a careless statement, or a contradictory action can damage credibility. This is why the greatest communicators are careful not only with what they say, but with how they live. They know that their life itself is a message, and every day is part of their communication. By living in alignment with their words, they become role models, and role models influence far beyond speeches. Consistency also inspires others to act. When people observe your steady communication, they mirror it. They adopt your discipline. They reflect your reliability, and they begin to spread your influence. Consistency multiplies because it sets a standard others aspire to follow. It creates a culture of trust, respect, and authenticity wherever it is practiced. In organizations, families, or nations, consistent communication creates unity because everyone knows the direction, the tone, and the values guiding them. Ultimately, consistency strengthens influence because it transforms communication from a temporary spark into a lasting flame. It shows that influence is not about occasional brilliance, but about continuous authenticity. It proves that words backed by steady action become unshakable, and that true respect is earned not in moments, but in patterns. Through consistency, your communication becomes more than just speech. It becomes a legacy that shapes minds, guides hearts, and inspires action across time. Every journey of influence begins with a single step, but it is sustained through discipline, clarity, and the will to grow. Communication is not just the art of speaking, it is the art of shaping lives, of turning ideas into action, and of transforming ordinary conversations into extraordinary movements. When you look at history, you will see that those who changed the course of nations, who inspired millions, who left their mark on generations, were not always the strongest, the richest, or even the most educated. They were the ones who mastered the ability to connect with people, to win their trust, and to ignite belief. And that power came from their communication. We have explored how clarity creates impact, how confidence commands respect, how active listening builds trust, how body language speaks louder than words, how emotion connects while logic convinces, and how consistency strengthens influence. Each of these is not just a principle, but a tool, a weapon, and a light that guides you in your journey. When combined, they turn you into a communicator who does not just speak, but inspires, who does not just share ideas but transforms lives. In your personal life, these principles will help you build stronger relationships because people will feel understood and respected by you. In your professional life, they will help you lead with authority because your words will carry weight and your presence will command attention. In society, they will help you contribute meaningfully because people will look to you not just as a speaker, but as a voice of direction and hope. Communication is not a talent given to a few, it is a skill anyone can cultivate. It requires practice, reflection, and commitment, but once developed, it becomes the key that unlocks doors which once seemed impossible to open. With every step you take toward improving your communication, you are taking a step toward amplifying your influence. And when your influence grows, your ability to create change multiplies. So remember, your words are not ordinary. They carry power. They carry the potential to uplift, to guide, to inspire, and to transform. Use them wisely. Use them courageously, and use them with consistency, because the way you communicate will decide not only the respect you receive, but also the legacy you leave behind.